Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the episode of Rock One Filter. The Toronto Maple Leafs have made it official. They have hired Craig Berube to be the 32nd head coach in Maple Leafs franchise history. Now, guys, we all knew that Craig Berube was going to be the next head coach of the Maple Leafs on Friday afternoon before the long weekend. So the Maple Leafs had released a statement saying that they would have a press conference Tuesday morning to introduce Craig Berube to the media. So Brad Treliving starts off the press conference by saying that the Maple Leafs had done their due diligence and had done extensive research looking for the next head coach of the Maple Leafs, but everything just kept on circulating back to Craig Berube. And guys, I totally understand why it would, because to me, Craig Berube was the best candidate out there, and he is the right coach to take the Maple Leafs on the next step to hopefully winning a Stanley Cup and multiple playoff rounds. And Brad Treliving went also on to state that he thinks that Craig Berube is a fantastic leader, a great communicator, and he holds his players accountable. Guys, this is exactly what I think we've all been looking for in our next head coach. So the media starts asking Mr. Berube some questions, and the first question is, what about the core four? And of course, Berube goes on to state that's one of the reasons why he came was because the amount of great players that the Maple Leafs have. But on Friday afternoon, Chris Johnson had put out a tweet saying this. Despite hiring a new coach, the Leafs will still seek to make a change to the core four. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens regarding the core four. But during this press conference today, Berube had also stated that they were not going to talk about the core four today and that they were going to discuss it in the summertime with Treliving and Shanahan, and that today will not be a discussion regarding the personnel, which is totally understandable. But one thing that Craig Berube did talk about was the way he wants to see his team playing moving forward. And here's one tweet from Lance Hornby, and this is what he said. We don't want to be outworked ever. It's all about the team. Everybody's important. Everybody has to be used. They all have roles. We want to play a north game, be fast, be a heavy team, not running, guiding, and fighting, but you have to be strong and win puck battles. Look, guys, he's stating everything that I want to hear from a hockey team that needs to win when it matters most, and that is the playoffs. We have not seen the Leafs do what he is stating, okay? They're not physical enough. They don't go in the corners and try to win puck battles. This is why Craig Berube was brought in. A different type of mentality and a breath of fresh air for the Maple Leafs. And I'm hoping that he can instill this type of mentality into this team. So another statement that he had also made was holding players accountable and a relationship he needs to build with them. And this is what he said. This was a tweet from Leaf Nation. This is what he says. He goes on to state, to hold players accountable and for players to understand the accountability, you have to form a partnership throughout. It starts in the summertime. Then when you have to hold the player accountable, it could be for ice time, it could be for whatever the situation is. They understand it more. Communication is huge. I'm going to tell them when they're playing well. I'm going to tell them when they're not playing well. Look, guys, it's great to hear finally a coach be as blunt as this guy has been. Okay, we've seen it with St. Louis, and I think we're going to see it with this hockey club. No more country club BS, okay? No more walking on eggshells, okay, like Sheldon Keefe had to, where he made some comments to the media, and then a day later, he had to revert his comments, okay? We, as Leaf fans, felt that was ridiculous, okay? A coach should speak his mind when he's talking about his players, and we know we're going to get that with Craig Berube because he's a straight shooter, and that's what we respect about him, and that's what we love to see, a guy who's going to hold his players accountable. We will see if the core four will be intact come training camp. I don't think it will be, but we will wait and see. If it is, we hope for a different type of mentality with this team. But I don't want to get too carried away with that yet because we still have the whole entire summer ahead of us. But there was some other things that former players of Craig Berube saying some things about him that were very positive. Former players he had won a Stanley Cup with in St. Louis. One was his former captain, Alex Pietrangelo, who was on first up with Carlo Koyakovo and Eric Koronik. And this is what he had to say about Berube. He says, anytime you have a team that's trying to get over the hump and you want someone to keep you accountable, he is going to do that. Okay? Petro, a two-time Stanley Cup champion, had said this about Berube. You know the guy is a serious leader. Okay? Petro even said it too. to Carlo Koliakovo that he thinks that the Leafs made a phenomenal hire. And that is great to hear. Another quote from one of his top defensemen, Colton Parayko, in a tweet from Chris Johnston. This is what Colton Parayko says. From a technical standpoint, like X's and O's, we didn't really change a whole lot. He just came in, made sure that we put in the work and worked together. He got everybody to buy into their roles. That is huge, guys. If Craig Berube can come in and make everybody understand their roles, this team will have a lot of success moving forward with him as the head coach. Now, I don't want to get too carried away. It's his first day on the job. We have a lot to see what goes down, especially when July 1st hits regarding, Marner and Tavares and possible free agents and all this other stuff. We'll have to wait and see. But the best thing that I saw regarding Berube was one little story regarding Robert Bertuzzo and Jake Allen. And here's the little story, guys. One message resonated above all. With the blue season on the line, the onus was now shifting towards the players changing their ways. There was some words that were said that can't be repeated. Then goalie Jake Allen said, seated a few rows away from Bertuzzo. He remembers Berube made his presence felt immediately. We understood from that moment on that every single person in that locker room was accountable for their own actions, and he was going to hold you to that standard. If a player missed his assignment on the ice in a way he might have earlier in the season, he was going to hear about it. If a player didn't compete in a battle to the standards Berube was setting, his ice time might suffer. Regardless of the name on the back of the jersey and how many numbers were printed on his pay stub, right away we realized the accountability, Bertuzzo said. Man, oh man, guys. That is a breath of fresh air when I see that. Okay? These guys are Stanley Cup champions under Berube. They know what they're talking about firsthand with this guy. Okay? Me hearing this gets me very excited, knowing that we are going to have a head coach, that there is no BS, no country club bullshit. Okay? I hope he stops playing music at practices. Okay? He is a serious guy, Craig Berube. And he is old-fashioned and, as we like to say, blue-collar. He is going to make this hockey team be a serious contender very soon. I'm telling you now, this guy here, he knows how to win. And I'm telling you now, if he gets the right players, okay, he gets the goaltending that he needs, this team, guys, could be very dangerous with Craig Berube running the show. But I do not want to get ahead of myself because there is a lot more question marks than certainty going into this offseason. But I will say this, though. The Leafs have made the first right step in the right direction by hiring a guy like Craig Berube. And now we are going to see what will happen with the personnel. Guys, I will say this. It is going to be an extremely interesting summer for the Maple Leafs. I am excited to see what happens. July's not far off. Things are going to move very quickly for the Leafs and Craig Berube. And I'm telling you guys now, buckle up. It's going to get interesting, especially with guys like Marner and Tavares and what happens with them. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Leafs, go, guys. And remember, guys, if you do not watch sports, you are more. Ciao, guys.